And then the naval tech and the air tech is very similar to what it was before, and that's just, you know, straight up upgrades. However, with some of them, you will need to upgrade the airframe before you can upgrade the other parts, because you can't support like a bigger engine unless you upgrade your airframe. And this is really true when it comes to ships. You will need to improve your design principle before you can get before you can start equipping the technology that comes more advanced than your design principle. Same with the escort guys, and also for the tanks, like you need the chassis upgraded before you upgrade the other things as well. Not so much the case for your infantry, which is very nice for, you know, just making sure that they keep up on, that you can keep your infantry modernized very easily, I guess. You don't need to be worrying about managing the design principles, because you will have a hard time getting enough technology, especially if you're not one of the big powers. I started off with less leadership than this, because I was in the I'll just go back over to here. I was a regional power, so I only had 8 leadership bonus versus my now 15 plus my education technology, which every time you upgrade your education, you gain another bonus. So right now I have a 4.5 leadership bonus from education, and some other little bonuses along the way, but most of it comes from my international status. Oh man, I'm not even out to politics yet. There's a lot going on to this game as well. Usually at the very beginning of the game, you look through your ministers, what kind of bonuses do they give you. This guy gives me 10% IC, this guy gives me 5% leadership. Research efficiency. Research efficiency is very useful because it will reduce the time it takes for technology to finish. So one of the very first things that I will do is I will go down the electronics route to get the tabulation machine, the computing machines, because all of these give me research efficiency. Now, when I did start as Italy, I started off upgrading my radar technology because I had no radar. I couldn't even build it, but it was a 1940 or 41 technology, and you can only research something if it is 1 year in advance. If it's 2 years in advance, then I can't research it very efficiently. So I will see if I can find one that's way too advanced. I know that there should be some around in here. I probably missed it while I was looking elsewhere. So it's a 43. Oh, there we go, 45. So this will pop up and it'll say inefficient research. Inefficient research. 3 years ahead. But I can do this guy no problem because he's only 1 year ahead. So cancel that. But I can still research him. It just will take longer. Yet when I did the radar earlier than usual, instead of being done at like 1941 or 1940, I had it done in like 2 years earlier than when, and so I ended up getting it a year earlier than when I could have normally researched it without any penalties, which would have meant that I would have had to research for another year, and then yeah, that would have given me 2 years less to be building radar bases. So when I went to war with Britain, I had like a level 4 radar base here, which helped out immensely. So I think Britain's the only real nation that starts off with actual radar technology and to be able to build radars. So power teching can be very useful for specific techs. Sometimes there are other ones like night fighting equipment. Yeah, night fighting equipment, 1944 technology. You can start researching this at the very beginning. It's very useful because half of the day your guys will be getting a night fighting penalty. And when you get night fighting equipment, that gets rid of it. But you have to commit one research point for, you know, 4 years or 6 years or something like that. Game starts in 1936. You can usually get this done if you research it right away in 1941 or so. So yeah, you can have it pretty early on in the war, and that is a really huge advantage if you can do that. I decided not to because I was really trying to get other things, certain other kinds of upgrades. And yeah, you can see in here with the technology, this is where it will list your practicals and your theories. So green is theory, blue is practical, and that determines like your efficiencies with researching and production. Your practicals are more important, but your theories will help in some way. You can actually research these, which will boost your theory in that, and also reduce the depreciation of your theories and your practicals. So this can be useful if you specifically know that you want to be focusing on infantry or mobile warfare or automotives. So this is like tanks, this is motorized and mechanized units. Or let's say you want to be really efficient at jets before you can even get them, because you're going to power tech to jets, which you can do. Whereas the jet engine right here, if you can get the advanced aircraft designs and theoretical jet engine, you can get jets really soon. And so you can get the theoretical engines from the right down in here. So if you want to get rocket science research, I think you need at least 50 IC, and then you can get rocket test sites built, and then once you have one of those built, then you can get your rocket engine and then your jet engine theoretical thingy done. And then from there, I can't remember if there's something in here that you had to build, but I don't think so. Yeah, the next one is just the advanced aircraft designs, which is down here. So you'd have to have a base amount of this done. So yeah, 1940 tech, you get that guy done as soon as you can, and then you can get him done, as long as you also have this one, which is a 1940 tech as well. And then yeah, you'll have the jet engine done. And this will, I believe, allow you to build jet fighters, I think. Should be able to do that. I don't know why it's not saying that, but I'm pretty sure it's there. I haven't built jets in this mod yet, so since it's changed around the whole tech tree, I'm not exactly sure how it works. Similar with bombers, there's some different things like radars and stuff that you can power tech to, which will really help your guys out with like detection if you wanted to, you know, find a lot of naval targets on the surface of the water. And of course, you can always power tech your tanks and some other things as well. So there's a lot of different variety that you can do. It does feel like Hearts of Iron does feel like it's very limited in what a player can do, especially if you're not a great power. If you're, you know, let's say you pick Turkey, you know, at most you might be able to get Bulgaria, Greece. Probably won't be able to take Romania and Yugoslavia. Like, it is possible, but either they're getting, like, Yugoslavia will often be getting invaded by Germany by the time I get around to attacking Yugoslavia's Turkey. And that's if I have enough troops to even fight Yugoslavia. Romania definitely has a big army. Usually you can go in and take out Iran pretty easily. If you want to pick a fight with the allies, you can go for like Syria and Lebanon, which is quite nice that they've added these territories in as independent nations that are colonies or puppets, because you can actually go in and conquer them now, instead of just occupying the territory and then being like, okay, now what? The allies are just, they're not going to give me that territory. They're way too big. So it does give you some more to do. But in general, you know, there are going to be some limitations to what a minor nation can do. Usually if you pick a minor nation, you just tag along with one of the big guys and just, you know, stick to like a specific front. So you can be like, okay, if I'm going to be Hungary, then I'm just going to keep all of my troops, you know, in this sort of area, and I'm going to keep them together. And I'm going to help push through one area to help like my allies encircle the Russians. Because encircling is very, very effective. When you engage in combat, it'll actually show what'll happen. When I click these guys to attack, I will also hold control, right click, tell these guys to support this attack. Because how combat works is you can see these little red icons, and that tells me how much width is there. So these guys attacking from here, they only get 2 width available to them, which is not very much because they will get a stacking penalty from doing that. These guys, they probably have plenty of width, but either way, I'll do that just to show the combat will engage in, I think, in the next hour. There we go. The attack is commenced. Let's speed it up a little bit. They're actually going to counterattack. I have a little pop-up saying that these guys are being attacked. They're doing a counterattack. Once this pops up, the battle is started. And then we can see these are who are against each other. These are the different kinds of tactics that are being done. My guys are doing an assault, which gives me 25 attacker bonus damage. He is doing a delay, which reduces my damage. Also reduces his own damage, and reduces my attacking speed, because my guys will continue to move along during the battle until they get to this point, and then they can't go any further. But as soon as the battle ends, they will immediately take the province, which can be very useful if you want to essentially roll over your enemy, because if he retreats too soon, I'll have a hard time catching him. And if I can get this guy to retreat and he wants to retreat here, and I am able to take this territory and then take this one before he can retreat there, he will completely surrender and he will lose that division, which is basically you're overrunning the enemy. The other way to get rid of a division is to attack him from all sides. If he has no way to retreat, he will get an encirclement penalty, which will pop up in here. If I had enough combat width in proportion to his being used, like if I had another guy attacking from here, I would be getting an envelopment bonus. And that's, you can stack envelopment with encirclement, and then you just completely nuke his modifiers. So right now we can see weather's bad. He's got experience and a dig-in bonus helping him out, and his defender damage bonus is reduced because of effects. See how much armor and piercing attack he has, how much leader skill. He has a really high defense bonus, not a very good attacking bonus though. My guys, not doing so well either, but I mean, they have a lack of supplies mostly is what's causing them to be less effective. They don't mind the weather actually, and that's because I've upgraded my equipment. So these guys actually have, it's January and this is Russia, so I actually have winter combat clothing, so I don't mind the weather as much as the Russians do. But yeah, we can see the different kinds of bonuses that these guys have. I have 5 units, they take up 13 width. He's only taking up 2 width here. And there's some other, you can see the various things that pop up in here. But because he's going to be counter-attacking my guys, what will happen... Yeah, we can see that pop up right here. These guys are in multiple combat, so they will get a 50% penalty because half of them are being attacked somewhere else. They don't feel it here, but they definitely feel it over here, and this will deplete them very fast. And so then at that point, I can just go and tell these guys, okay, break the attack off. You can see I've lost 38 guys, and he lost 86 guys. And then they also broke off their attack because I'm fighting from like a forest here. I've got way more guys. I am also doing tactics that counter his. So I've countered his attack with a counterattack. You can see what that counters. He's also just sending cavalry at me, and that's going to really cripple him. And with this, we're just doing normal attack defense things. Let's see. One of the other things that I've done is I've created a... when you are making your armies, you get these army HQs that you attach your soldiers to, your different divisions. And I've actually put in combat divisions into the division that has the HQ, so the HQ can actually go out and fight. I only do this for the core level, which is the lowest level of HQ that you can get. My army doesn't have any in it, the army group does not have any in it, and the theater HQ, this one came with some just because I think it did at the start, or I just had leftovers. I think this guy just had leftovers. And you usually do that by having the units together, and then you just do the reorganize, and you toss all of the units into the one with the HQ. They don't make it easy to do make actual combat cores with your HQs, but what it allows me to do, because your army cores normally only allow you to have, like, where is a good one to show this off? Yeah, so this guy only has 5 divisions that he can hold. You can only hold 5 in an army corps, but I have 6, or basically 6 divisions in my 5 division army corps here. And that's because the actual HQ is acting like a combat corps. Even though the HQ is not that great, it can still fight, and that's just, it really helps, because then you can easily divide it, so you can have 2 divisions in each province, and then you can take up 3 provinces. It's just a nice little, some people will do their army organizations differently. I've just adopted the 6 corps strategy, I guess. And last thing I'm going to talk about is the espionage. I'm not really doing a lot of espionage right now. I think I just bailed out completely just so that I could change, because you need spies, and I've mostly just gotten rid of all of my leadership going into espionage. They're only in espionage to defend my own country, counter-espionage, support the ruling party, and raise my national unity. But my national unity is pretty high, and my political support is pretty high, so I'm not too worried about that. But when you do put spies into another country, you can, I usually have them set to counter-espionage, where they kill off the spies that are defending that country, and then you can just go to town on whatever else you want. For a while there, I was doing tech espionage, where I was stealing tech from the British. I wasn't getting very much, but in general, mostly what I'll do is increase the threat or disrupt their national unity, which makes them surrender easier. I do threat because you can see here, when a country is threatening, it makes it so that in this diplomacy menu, they drift away from you the more threatening you become. And the other reason that you would want to increase a guy's threat, especially early on in the game, is if you want to declare war on someone, you have to deal with your neutrality. My neutrality is at 0 right now, but if your neutrality was at 50, then you would need 50 threat on your enemy in order to go to war with him. That's sort of how it works there. So if you want to go to war early with someone, you increase his threat, and then you try and reduce your neutrality at the same time. And so basically that's what I did with like Yugoslavia, as I increased his threat a whole bunch. He doesn't have any more threat just because I puppeted him. But that's how I got to go to war with Yugoslavia pretty early on. Made him more threatening, and then I made the UK more threatening just so that it made it so that the US drifted away from America for a longer period of time, and others did as well. So there's quite a few other things that can also change in this game. There was one round that I played where Japan never went to war with China. And as a result, Japan never entered the Axis, and it was really weird. I was Canada, and I was just kind of sitting around watching how this game would unfold. Germany never declared war on... well, he never annexed Czechoslovakia. He went to war with Poland before Poland got guaranteed by the UK. And then Germany went to war with the Soviet Union. And because he didn't take the normal routes, Italy didn't become part of the Axis for a while, and Japan never joined the Axis. And eventually, though, France ended up declaring war on Germany, and then they just sat there, staring at each other, because Germany never declared war on Belgium. I think he invaded the Netherlands, but he never attacked Belgium. And so they ended up sitting there, staring at each other. Eventually, what happened is Germany deployed a ton of troops into southern France, northern Italy here, and then they ended up doing like a southern blitzkrieg up all the way here. And it took them a while because he took forever to get to France, but they went up this way. It's a very weird match. But yeah, the Soviet Union ended up like pushing all the way back here by 1941. And as Canada, I was doing some crazy shit like taking over Sicily and kicking Italy out of North Africa. And I just sat on the Messina point here, and whenever Italy tried to attack me, he had to do an amphibious attack to jump across the strait here. Because this is a strait, and you will be subject to amphibious attack penalties. But you can walk across the strait. And Italy never brought Marines to do that, so I just sat there laughing at him. Had a whole bunch of naval bombers, and whenever his ships came into the Straits of Messina, I would attack them. They would port into Reggio di Calabria, into this little level 1 port, and then I would bomb the crap out of them in the port and sink a whole bunch of battleships. So that might be a little gamey. The AI is really bad at managing their fleets like that. If you are Germany and you want to take care of the UK, you build a bunch of fighters, naval bombers, and you simply find his navy and you bomb them into oblivion in a port. So if they like port in Dover, you bomb Dover into non-existence. And that's also one of the reasons why you'd want to go up into Norway, so that you can get an airport up here, so that you can maybe send your naval bombers out to like attack Scapa Flow and some of the other places here to help an invasion all around the UK. So I don't know if I will continue this match. I mean, it's a bit of a grind at this point. I mean, we probably will beat the Russians. Maybe. It all depends if I can get my troops organized and supplied. All depends on this down here. I might just have to go and manually evacuate them from here and then just hold this line. That way I can get my paratroopers and my transport ships out of Africa and somewhere where they're, you know, more needed. I have to think for my AI for once. So we shall see. There's still more to Hearts of Iron 3, and I do enjoy playing some of these other mods to get some variety in the game. Looking forward to the next one, Hearts of Iron 4, coming out next year. So I might make another video, might do action, after action reports of other games, maybe even continue this one. We'll see. I'm Ryan Chiswick, Perfect Death. Thanks for watching. Take care.